Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र, राधा कृष्ण चंद्र, राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम, कृष्ण बलराम, कृष्ण बलराम, जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय निताय गौरांग, निताय गौरांग, निताय गौरांग, जय निताय गौरांग। जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह, प्रहलाद नरसिंह, प्रहलाद नरसिंह, जय सुदर्शन। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 10th chapter, text number 30. Etaha param stritvam apastapeshalam. Etah param stritvam apastapeshalam. Nirasta शौचम बता साधु कुर्वते। निरस्त शौचम बत साधु कुर्वते। यासां गृहात् पुष्करलोचनः पते। यासां गृहात् पुष्करलोचनः पते। न जातु अपैति आहृतिभिर्हृदि स्पृशन्। न जात्वपैति आहृतिभिर्हृदि स्पृशन्। एताः परं स्त्रीत्वमपास्तपेशलम्। निरस्त शौचं बत साधु कुर्वते। यासां गृहात् पुष्करलोचनः पते। न जात्वपैति आहृतिभिर्हृदि स्पृशन्। स्त्रीत्वमपास्तपेशलम्। निरस्त शौचं बत साधु कुर्वते। Pushkaralochanav patir न जात्वपैति यारितभिर्हृदि स्पृशन् एताः परं स्त्रीत्वमपास्तपेशलम् त्वपैति यारितभिर्हृदि स्पृशन् एताः परं स्त्रीत्वमपास्तपेशलम् निरस्तशौचं बत साधु कुर्वते यासां गृहात् पुष्करलोचनः पतिः न जात्वपैति यारितभिर्हृदि स्पृशन् एताः all these women param highest stritvam womanhood apastapeshalam without individuality nirasta without shaucham purity bata sadhu auspiciously glorified kurvate do they make yasam from whose grihat homes pushkaralochanaha the lotus-eyed patihi husband najatu never at any time apaiti goes away aritibhihi by presentation Hridhi in the heart, Sprishan endeared. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. All these women auspiciously glorified their lives despite their being without individuality and without purity. Their husband, the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, never left them alone at home. He always pleased their hearts by making valuable presentations. Please repeat. All these women auspiciously glorified their lives despite their being without individuality and without purity. Their husband, the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, never left them alone at home. He always pleased their hearts by making valuable presentations. Purport. The devotees of the Lord are purified souls. As soon as the devotees surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord sincerely, the Lord accepts them. And thus, the devotees at once become free from all material contaminations. Such devotees are above the three modes of material nature. There is no bodily disqualification of a devotee, just as there is no qualitative difference between the Ganges water and the filthy drain water when they are amalgamated. Women, merchants, and laborers are not very intelligent, and thus it is very difficult for them to understand the science of God or to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. They are more materialistic, and less than them are the Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Kankas, Yavanas, Khasas, etc. But all of them can be delivered if they are properly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. By engagement in the service of the Lord, the designative disqualifications are removed, and as pure souls, they become eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. The fallen girls, under the clutches of Bhaumasur, sincerely prayed to Lord Sri Krishna for their deliverance, and their sincerity of purpose made them at once pure by virtue of devotion. The Lord therefore accepted them as his wives, and thus their lives became glorified. Such auspicious glorification was still more glorified when the Lord played with them as the most devoted husband. The Lord used to live with his 16,108 wives constantly. He expanded himself into 16,108 plenary portions, and each and every one of them was the Lord himself, without deviation from the original personality. The Shruti mantra affirms that the Lord can expand himself into many. As husband of so many wives, he pleased them all with presentations, even at a costly endeavor. He brought the Parijat plant from heaven and implanted it at the palace of Satyabhama, one of the principal queens. If therefore anyone desires the Lord to become one's husband, the Lord fulfills such desires in full. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम। Bhaumasur, the son of Krishna, became contaminated because of wrong association. This was to set example that even if somebody is as good as son of God, he was born of Krishna and Bhudevi. So even though one could be son of Krishna, but still in wrong association, one may get spoiled. So therefore, it is very important to choose right association. Whatever we have in our life is simply because of the result of association that we have had. Wrong association, then wrong desires. Right association, then right desires. So once Bhaumasur kidnapped them, then they lost their importance. Once a woman is out, especially in the Vedic culture, then nobody can trust why she was out. And it is very, very difficult for such a woman to accept or to get accepted by any husband. So thus it is told they lost all individuality, lost all significance. But even though they had no special significance and they were held in captivity, they sincerely prayed to Krishna. And by their sincerity of purpose, by their surrender, they immediately became purified. The example given is, even though the water from a filthy drain, as soon as it amalgamates with the Ganges, it becomes as pure as the Ganges water. And a person will get purified by taking dip in that so-called water of the drain. It is no longer water of the drain. So it does not matter. The water could be as contaminated as that of a filthy drain. But as soon as it is in contact with the Ganges water, it is also called Ganges, and it becomes equally pure and effective. So this is the situation with the living entities of this world. It does not matter how much ever contaminated they are. Once they surrender unto Krishna, they become purified, and then they are as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it is very important, this verse here, Nirasta Shaucham Bat Sadhu Kurvate. Shaucham is purity. So this is the only purpose of the human form of life. And this purpose was very evidently known to all the people. The purpose is purification. Because unless we are pure, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one cannot return to God. God is apapa vidham, God is completely pure. So we also have to be pure to approach God. So an impure person cannot approach God. That is why Kunti Maharani is praying, Tatha Param Hansanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyema Histriyaha. It is told, I am a woman. As Prabhupada is telling here, it is very difficult for women, merchants and laborers to understand God because they are having lot of material desires and thus they are less intelligent. So as we discussed that this is the situation with all of us. Either we are belonging to woman class or we belong to the employee class or the employer class. So here laborer means the employee class. So that was the only kind of employment which was there in the Vedic age. Otherwise everybody was maintaining himself without any employment. And employer means the business class. So today either there is employer, there is employee, or there is woman class. And all of these classes are considered less intelligent. And thus they are having very strong. So material desires and intelligence, they are inversely proportional to each other. So if somebody is having strong material desires to enjoy, that means that they are less intelligent. That is why Chanakya Pandit says, Vidyarthina kuta sukham, sukharthina kuto vidyam. A person who is desiring sense gratification, then where is the question of knowledge? Sukharthina kuto vidya. How he can have knowledge in life? And one who is desiring knowledge, Vidyarthina kuta sukham. Where is the question of sense enjoyment? So anybody who is desiring knowledge, it is not possible to have sense enjoyment in life. Because it is very, very simple to understand that sense enjoyment, which everyone has taken as the aim of life in today's age, it is actually the cause of all the problems in our life. This is the first instruction, and that is common sense also. But just see, the common sense also does not strike people. What we are trained in, work very hard so that you can enjoy the senses. But one does not have common sense that where is the question of enjoyment on the platform of sense gratification? There is no enjoyment of senses. Because the senses are never satisfied. The senses only get addicted. An addicted person, can he enjoy? An addicted person cannot enjoy. We also might be having some addictions, or we might have had some addictions in our life. And what is life when we have addictions? Horrible, helpless, like animals. One cannot control himself. So thus one can understand very easily, as a famous Bollywood celebrity was telling. His father also was very rich. So the sons of rich people, what do? They are high on intoxication, drugs. So he's telling, I was not knowing what was my life. For 2 days, I am not eating anything. I am sleeping continuously. I do not know what is day and what is night. I was high on drugs always. And then I realized I went to my father. I told I need help. And then he was put into hospital for a long time, then rehab. And then he told, then finally, when for 1 month I experienced a life without drugs, I realized how nice it is, how free I was feeling, how normal people live. So he was thinking that these drugs will give me enjoyment, and they do give enjoyment, but immediate enjoyment. But one gets addicted. So life becomes very horrible when a person is addicted. So if we see, everybody in this world is addicted. The sense enjoyment is also addiction. Yan mathunadi grihamedhi sukhamitu kanduyanena karyor eva dukkha dukkham. Kanduyanena karyor eva dukkha dukkham. It is like itching sensation. You rub it, it itches all the more. You rub it, the itching increases. In this way, the dissatisfaction always keeps on increasing. Punsa striya mithuni bhava metam tayor mitho hridaya granthim ahu. Ato griha kshetra sutapta vittayar janasya mohoyam aham mameti. Moha, because of drugs or intoxicants, a person gets into moha or bewilderment, illusion. One cannot understand reality. Similarly, because of sense enjoyment, one gets into a moha or illusion. What is illusion? When we are in illusion, do we realize I'm in illusion? So we were discussing yesterday in the IIM. So are we in illusion now? Everyone was sitting in class. They have got up in the morning. In the morning, the session was planned. But no, we are not. So there's a situation, a person is intoxicated, he will never realize he or she is intoxicated. Similarly, we do not realize, but we are highly intoxicated and we are hallucinating. What is the hallucination? The hallucination is aham mameti. Hallucination is aham, I am this body. Mama iti, I am this body and the bodily connections belong to me. My son, my father, my mother, my wife, my property. In this way, we hallucinate. A person may think, one who is a drunkard, he sees any big house, this house belongs to me. See, it is my house. He will think anything. Hallucinating. So the devotees were there in Rath Yatra in San Francisco. It was the first Rath Yatra. I think, yeah, this incident is of that Rath Yatra only. So devotees somehow, they were able to arrange a small truck. On the truck, they converted it into Ratha. And then Lord Jagannath was sitting and the devotees also managed. They were dancing, singing very nicely. And somebody distributed some candies to them. And they also relish the candy. Candy is simple. The children also relish simple, innocent food. But then they realized after some time, they are sitting in the car. Suddenly the roof of the car has opened up and they're able to see the sky. And then they realize their car is going straight and the car is going straight into the sky. It has started flying. And then they realized it was drugs actually. Drug-laced candies. So when you have such intoxicants, you do not realize, you will have different experiences. So in a similar way, right now it is told, when a person takes drugs, and which is the strongest drug here, any kind of sense enjoyment produces intoxication. And which is the strongest dose of intoxicant? Sex life. Punsa striya mithuni bhava metam. As soon as there is combination of male and female, there is a knot formed in the heart. Tayor mitho hridaya granthim ahuhu. There is a subtle knot of energies which is formed in the heart. And as soon as there is this combination, then what happens? Ata griha kshetra sutapta vittayar janasya mohoyam. Then a person needs griha. As soon as there is combination of man and woman, then they need a house to live. Otherwise, single person can roam around, can live anywhere. There is no problem at all. In Kumbh, you see so many sadhus are coming. From where they are coming, nobody knows. Somewhere in the mountain they are living. Nobody knows their address. They come and they go. They are alone. Need not bother with any place. So a single person can manage living anyhow, anywhere. Need not comb yourself very attractively. Need not wear expensive dresses. All these things we need when there is punsa striya attraction, the attachment of man and woman. So as soon as this combination is there, then a person needs a house to live, a proper house, graha. And then one needs kshetra. What is kshetra? Land. Why do we need land? Because this was, as we discussed, the only occupation or the major occupation people were doing. Only those who were extremely incapable, they were doing the jobs. Otherwise, doing job is not very good thing. You become servant, private servant or government servant. Job means you are a servant actually. So that is why it is told kshetra. Kshetra means for occupation, people will take a land and cultivate the land. Whatever you need, land will produce everything. Whatever you need, it is produced. But our greeds may not be produced, and greeds anyway never satisfy us. Kandu yanayana karyor, it is like itching sensation, itching propensity on the body. But whatever we need, the land will produce. All the needs are produced by the lands of clothing, of wearing, of shelter, of wood, of making house, the required materials, everything land will give. So a single person does not need the land, but if there is combination of man and woman, then a house is required, and to run the house, you need land, not money. This is illusion. Why money is required? Money was not existing some time ago. We are so completely brainwashed. Money, money, money. Anybody does anything, the aim is money. So that is why a very nice word for money is there in Sanskrit. What is the word? Arth. Dharmarth. Kama. Moksha. Dharma is done for arth. Arth means money. And another meaning of arth is purpose or objective. So objective and money both are having one term in Sanskrit. That is arth. Because objective of people is money. So Sanskrit is so nice. That is how the word guna is also there. Guna means quality, and guna means rope which bind one. So the qualities, they bind a person in this material world. The qualities are sattva guna, rajaguna or tamoguna. And otherwise the good qualities, if we have any good quality, that will entangle us in this material world. Good or bad quality, any quality. If we have bad quality, we will commit sinful activities. Again, we have to come back and suffer. If we have good qualities, again, those qualities will bind us. If we are very attractive, we are having beautiful features, then many people, especially of opposite sex, they will be attracted towards us. And then we also then enjoy, and we are under clutches of illusion. We keep on taking birth, fulfilling the desires. If we are having lot of wealth, we are having good quality of intelligence, we can make money, we can have good skills, then again people will be around us, they will worship us, adore us, and then we will be entangled. So thus qualities, they bind us in this material world. So word uses guna, rope, and quality, both are having same meaning. Similarly, earth, objective, and money, both are having the same meaning, earth. So whatever we need, so those things are fulfilled by the land. There is no need of money, but now everybody thinks I need money. Griha kshetra sutapta vittayar. So people will simply have a kshetra, but then you have to work hard. You have to cultivate land and produce all the necessities. And then what happens? Griha kshetra suta. What home is a home without children? Yes. So first a person is married, first a person is worried if they are not getting married. And then they are worried if they are married and not having children. And they are worried if the children of their children are not having children. In this way, worries never end in life. Balastavat krida sakta. As a small child, one is worried about playing. One is always playing. And when one grows up, tarunastavat taruni sakta. One is worried about taruni, young woman, or woman for man. One is hunting for a young man or young woman. And then after sufficient enjoyment, one becomes old. Then what happens? Vriddhastava chinta magna. Then one is completely worried all the time. This is not right, that is not right. In this way, parabrahmane kopi na lagna. Kopi na sakta. Nobody inquires about Parabrahma, the absolute truth, about God. Nobody inquires. Young man is, the child is busy after playing. One has no interest in absolute truth, in understanding God, the purpose of life. As a young man, one is interested in young woman, or vice versa. One has no interest in understanding perfection of life. And then one becomes old. Then in old age, one is completely worried by so many Chinta magnaha, so many anxieties. Always they are anxious because by the time they have entangled so much, they have expanded their griha, kshetra, sutta, apta, relatives. Somebody is disturbed, thus they are also disturbed. Always chinta magna. Thus they are also nobody in the world. Shankaracharya lamented. Takes interest in understanding truth. What is absolute truth? We want to enjoy, but we do not want to understand truth. This is called animal life. If we want to become happy, we need to be very, very inquisitive about truth. I need to know what is truth. As we were discussing yesterday, a person is sleeping very nicely and he's seeing very nice people around him and very beautiful scenery, very nice waters and woods. But all these visions are visions of a dream. He does not understand his house is on fire. He needs to wake up. And people get burnt sometimes at time, sleeping. So they are completely happy with their sense perception. Oh, I am seeing nice scenery around me. I am seeing nice people around me. I am satisfied. Without inquiring about truth, what is truth? Does it really exist or not? So that is why if one needs lasting happiness, eternal happiness, ultimate happiness, one should be very, very inquisitive about truth. What is truth? We are very nicely seeing, oh, there is no problem at all. I do not see anybody attacking. You do not see anybody attacking, but attack might be ready. So these days with the technology, some of the countries, they are very expert in making stealth planes. What are stealth planes? Stealth bombers. Your radars will not be able to detect them. And then you are very happy. Yes, our enemy is not around. He will come, drop a bomb and go away. You will never realize. So you are not able to see something. It does not mean it does not exist. So you cannot be happy unless you are able to know the truth. So one should be very, very inquisitive. What is truth? And the truth may not be perceivable by the senses. Our senses, our instruments, they have limitations. So one should be very eager to understand, how do I know reality? I am limited by my senses and instruments, and they have limitations, even to see things of the material world, of this domain. How can I perceive truth? Especially if I am in illusion, I am bewildered. I cannot see truth. So one should understand the sense enjoyment, it puts me into bewilderment, it puts me into illusion. Janasya mohoyam. So in this way, a person is worried. One needs children. After having a home, land, one needs children. Without children, home is no home. And then after children, home, your occupation, you have become very rich man in society's estimate. Then what do you need? You need society. Otherwise, who will praise you for all this hard work? For this handsome husband or beautiful wife you have attained by showing your profile. What is the use if nobody praises? Oh, your wife is so beautiful. You are so fortunate. So that is why you need, that is what Arjuna tells Krishna. All these people will be killed in the battle. For whom? Then what is the need of this kingdom? To whom shall we show the kingdom? We get happiness only when we show off to others, our relatives. So that is why it is told next a person needs apta. Apta means relatives. And then one shows off to relatives and society and friends, and then one gets happiness. Otherwise, all these achievements are null and void if there is nobody to show off to. In this way, a person becomes illusioned in this world. Janasya mohoyam. A person thinks I am the body and the connections of the body belong to me. So I am not the body. This we can understand easily by simply little contemplation. This is called meditation. This is called Sankhya Yoga. Understanding who am I. So I am not the skin of my body. Skin keeps on changing. The skin gets removed. Then the skin takes place, gets changed. You lose some blood. Blood also can be changed. Blood transfusion. I am not the skin. I am not the blood also. And everything in the body is transformation of the blood that we have. Blood gets transformed into different things. Bones and bone marrow and XYZ. Different organs, different cells, different tissues. I am not the organs. Organs can also be replaced by science. I am not the liver. I am not the kidneys. I am not any of the bones of the body. I am not the heart. All these things, I am not the eyes. All these things can be changed, can be transplanted. then who am I? Who is the person who is experiencing the world through this body? I am definitely different from the body. I am not the brain. Many conscious living entities do not have brain. Earthworm does not have brain. Jellyfish does not have brain. Plants and trees do not have brains, but they are conscious entities. So I am the one who is conscious, but my consciousness is limited to this body. So it is easy to understand I am not the body. Then the question is, who am I? I am not the mind. My mind is different. I am different. I want to focus while I am chanting, but my mind goes somewhere else. I can understand I am not the mind. I pull my mind, come here, listen to the holy name. My mind is going everywhere. So I am different, my body is different, and my mind is different. I perceive the world through my body and through my mind. I am different. So the question is, who am I? How I have got stuck in this body? So I am not the body. But the sense enjoyment keeps us into this illusion. That is why this sense enjoyment is called impurities. This sense gratificatory tendency is called impurity. And if a person is impure, so wine is considered impure. When wine enters the body or drugs enter the body, then a person hallucinates, does not perceive reality. Similarly, all the sense objects are impure. As soon as a person enjoys the sense objects, he starts hallucinating. And the bodily concept becomes very, very strong. And all the problems are because of this bodily concept of life. It keeps a person in illusion. Then a person thinks, I am the body. Then a person demands respect for oneself. He works very hard to get respect in the society. What is this body? This body is a dress. What is this respect? A person who is wearing the dress of a president, he tells, call me president. I am president. And if one does not call him president, he becomes disturbed. Oh, sir, you are not president. You are wearing the dress of president. You were having dress of a baby some time ago. You're not even wearing your pants. And now you are having the dress of president. So you think, oh, I'm president, give me respect. If somebody does not give respect, I become disturbed. That is why Krishna tells in 13th chapter, among the elements of knowledge, the first element of knowledge is amanitvam, humility, not being anxious to get honored in this world. Because this honor is because of illusion. With the advancement of age, one starts thinking, oh, I'm a senior person now. I am no longer a kid. Small kid, you chastise him, scold him, you give him a chocolate next day, he will not mind. But once we grow up, oh, entire life we will not talk to that person. How he spoke to me? He did not show me respect. Entire life I will not speak to them. So much ego we have. Why? Simply because I'm wearing the dress of a grown-up man. I'm not grown up. I am never young. I am never old. But because of this, I maintain my pride. That is why the first element of knowledge is pridelessness. All the pride is because of this external covering that we have. Amanitvam, humility. Thus, a man in knowledge never desires any respect in this world. So that is why one should be very, very inquisitive to understand what is truth. And without being inquisitive to know truth, one simply desires enjoyment, then that is animal. Dog is also desiring enjoyment, looking for food, looking for a mating partner, looking for some shelter. And we also work for the same thing. Then Shastras are telling we are Dvipad Pashu. Although we are walking on 2 legs, Dvipad, they walk on Chatushpad, 4 legs. But it does not make us human beings. If we have no inquisitive, Ahar Nitra Bhai Mathuna Mevacha Samanyametat Pashubhe Nrananam. Eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. These principles are common among human beings and animals. And we are also working very hard just to enjoy good eating, just to have a nice house for good sleeping, just to protect ourselves. Animals protect themselves using their claws and nails. We protect ourselves using our advanced missiles. But the activity is same, of that of defense. You are not able to give up your defenses. Advanced personalities give up their defense. They go in the jungle And they sit there alone in the jungle. People get fearful. If there are no lights, they are walking in a lonely street at night, they become fearful. Some thief may be there, animal can be there, ghost can be there. We become fearful. And in jungle, when there is nobody, no protection, how somebody can live alone? There are no lights. So one boy was telling, he was working in US and went on trekking. And then he lost the guidelines. He got lost in the way and it became very, very dark. And he became very scared. He told Prabhu, everywhere I would see, I thought here bear hiding behind the bushes. Now I'll get attacked. And he told, I felt paralyzed. I was not able to move. He got so much fearful. So just imagine a person is living in the jungle entire life. How they are able to avoid such fears? This is called giving up defense. Now we are increasing our defense. Let me have this also, that also, this protection, that protection, all the protection. But here people give up. They live in the most risky environment, entire lives. So who protects them? The Supreme Lord protects them. The Lord is there in the heart of every living entity. The Lord tells the animals, do not disturb such yogi who is there. They are sitting in one place. They cannot change their sitting posture also. This is called Ashtanga Yoga. They cannot move. They cannot move their necks also in the advanced stages. They have to give up eating. They have to give up mating, give up sleeping, give up all defense, stop all the activities of the senses. And then so it is very, very difficult, this process of Ashtanga Yoga. So all these one is supposed to do for getting purification, to understand one's real identity. And then one searches for the Supreme Soul in the heart. And finally, after many, many hundreds and thousands of years of practice, one is able to see the Supreme Soul within the heart. When all the activities of the senses are stopped, the activities of the internal senses gets awakened. One stops hearing all the external sounds. One hears the sound of Om from within. In this one practices Ashtanga Yoga. And then finally, after a very, very long time of practice. So who protects such a person? The Lord protects. He is there in the heart of all the species. He does do not disturb this person. And then he becomes even more very, very faithful. So eating, mating, sleeping, defending is the work of animals. So advancement of life is how much we are coming out of these propensities, how much we can minimize our eating, how much we can minimize our mating, how much we can minimize. This is the purpose of human form of life. Tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam shuddhyet. This is the instruction given by the king of the entire world, Rishabdev. King of the entire world, how intelligent and powerful he must be. But he is very eager to retire so that he can fulfill the ultimate purpose of life. And he is none other than Lord Krishna himself. He was showing by example how to lead life in this world. And what he is teaching to his children? That human life is meant for tapasya. That is why I am retiring. Nowadays people think retirement is meant for enjoyment. You work very hard, retire early so that you can enjoy. This is completely mistaken concept of life. That is why it is told retire as soon as possible. 50 years is the upper limit for retirement. Because after retirement, one is supposed to undergo rigorous hardships. Life is not meant for enjoyment, to enjoy the coziness of the house. This coziness of house is entanglement. Pancha shodham vanam vrajet. That is why in Vedic culture it is told after 50 years, you go to jungle. Minimize the activities of the senses. Come out of this hallucinatory bewilderment which the sense enjoyment produces, that I am the body. Go to the jungle. Pancha shodham, 50 years is upper limit, because the body needs to be sound and fit to practice this process of spiritual life. If the body is very weak, invalid, you cannot advance swiftly. So while the body is fit, take advantage. So 50 years is the upper limit. When the forces of the body are not very strong, naturally the chemical forces become weak. It is more congenial then to control your senses. So take advantage. So thus Rishabdev tells, human life is meant for tapo divyam putraka yen sattvam tapasya, to take hardships. So after retirement, hardship should be increased, and one should keep on increasing unless one becomes a Paramahansa, one becomes completely pure soul, transcendental to the activities of the activities of material world, from the control of material nature. So just see, this is completely different. Nobody taught us that this is the aim of life. Everyone taught us enjoy, work hard and enjoy. That is why some people accuse that you are brainwashing. My son or daughter, they were so nicely going to the movies, going to the concerts. Now they don't watch movie. They are not having any entertainment. They are not eating in the restaurants. You are brainwashing. So yes, this is a brainwash. And if somebody accuses us of brainwash, we should be proud of it. Because Krishna tells, yes, in Bhagavad Gita, very clearly Krishna has told, what is the symptom of knowledge? Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami. Yasyam jagriti bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. It is told, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam. What is night? Nisha means night. What is night for general living beings? Sarva bhutanam, common living entities. Tasyam jagrati sanyami. That is a time of awakening. That is daytime for self-realized soul. Sanyami. Sanyami means one who regulates the senses. One who has this common sense. The sense enjoyment is an addiction. I do not need all these things. This is artificial way of life I built up. Certain satisfaction senses need to keep the body and soul together, and that should be minimized with practice. But going for gratifying the senses, that is not the way. So one should become sanyami, one who has this common sense. So for a sanyami, for a soul who is regulated in one's sensual activities, that is a time of awakening. What is time for? Sleeping for the common living entities. And yasyam jagrati bhutani. The time of awakening for the common living entities. Sa nisha pashyato. That is a time for, that is called darkness by a self-realized soul. Munehe. Mune means thoughtful man. People are not thoughtful. Simply work hard and enjoy. Like animal, they are not thinking, where is enjoyment in my life? Only distress is increasing in my life. With the passage of years, what I've added in my life is more distress. But because one is not muni, one is not thoughtful, one is not able to realize this fact. Pashyanapi na pashyati. One does not realize these objects of enjoyment, what I perceive, they are only the cause of distress in my life. They give immediate happiness, but long-term distress. But because one is not thoughtful, one is not able to see that all these things are the causes of distress in my life. So the time, yasyam jagrati bhutani, when the common living entities are, they wake up, it is daytime for them. That is called night by a muni, a philosopher, a thoughtful man. So if the daytime somebody tells, oh, this is night, what you will call such a person? Brainwashed. He is mad. It is day, he is telling it is night. Or nighttime somebody says, no, this is daytime. You will call him mad or brainwashed. So Krishna is telling this is fact. If you are following genuine spiritual life, you should be accused of brainwashing. You should be accused. If people are not accusing you of brainwash, that means you are not following genuine spiritual life. Because Krishna is telling, Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is telling it is 180-degree converse life. The night for a materialist is daytime for the self-realized soul. And the daytime for materialist is nighttime for the thoughtful man, for the philosopher. One is going for sense enjoyment, which is the source of all misery. Another is going for regulating the senses, minimizing the necessities, for doing jigyasa. So yes, it is fact. And one will realize also that yes, you are thinking that your children have become brainwashed, but see, have they become sanyami or not? Yes, they become sanyami. They are regulating their senses, yes. So there's the test. Once you become sanyami, you become regulated, you become thoughtful, then you become, your definition of life changes completely. Your objectives of life, they change completely. So it is common sense. So if one has got little understanding, one will understand this is common sense. Life is not meant to increase the impurities, increase the complexities, become addicted. A man who is addicted is never happy. That is why people are not happy. So one should de-addict oneself, get freed from the sensual activities, regulate, and one should prepare for tapasya, hardships. By this, sattvam shuddhyet, one's existence becomes purified. One becomes freed of material contamination, of material energy. And then what happens? Why to take so much of hard work? Yasmat Brahma Saukhyam tu Anantam. If you do this, you become pure. You will enjoy a life of never ending bliss. You will enjoy Brahma Sukh. Brahma Sukh means ultimate happiness or spiritual happiness. And the nature of this happiness is it is never ending. The pleasures here they end. You want to enjoy your favorite food. How long the taste will last? For few moments. You want to enjoy sex pleasure. How long it will last? For few moments. And there's so much trouble before and after that. But just imagine if this pleasure never ends. It keeps on increasing at every moment. Oh, this is very nice. The pleasure that I have by this eating, it will increase every moment. Continuously I can enjoy. Yes, that is spiritual life. It never ends. Rather, it always increases. This is spiritual life. So Rishabh Dev tells that human life is meant for this. And his eldest son, who was made the king after him, he very dutifully followed the instructions of his father. And at 24 years of age, he also left his kingdom and went to realize Brahma Sukh, went to practice tapasya. But then he could not, he failed, got attracted by a deer. He took the birth of a deer in the next life. But then again, he was in the next life, he realized I had become king, then I got attached to a deer, I became deer. In this life, I need to practice this detachment very nicely. Thus, he started wandering like a madman. He was not at all concerned. Thus, we can see what is the situation of a self-realized soul. Here, we need to show off our intelligence. Even though he was such an intelligent man, he was able to remember his past two births also. But he's not showing off. He was behaving like a foolish man, completely dumb. Dumb is called Jad. That is why he came to be known as Jad Bharat. So thus, a person who is actually trying to show off he is very intelligent. See, I'm from this college. I've got these many marks and this thing. He's actually less intelligent. The most wise person will behave like a dull person, like a dullard in this world. Lord Rishabh also behaved like this. He was king of the entire world. But then he left everything, left his clothes also. And he was moving around like a madman. And he went to the kingdom of enemy. We want to stay in a place where we are respected. He wanted to go to a place where he will not be identified, thus will not be respected. This is the life of a self-realized soul. He went to a place where people will not identify, the kingdom of enemy. And then there, don't ask me how he was ruling the entire world. Where is enemy then? There was enemy. All world means almost. Some people are always there. So he went, and so then he was moving. Nobody identified him. No clothes on his body, like a madman, not interested. So people were making fun of him and throwing stones at him. Some people were even passing urine at him, but he was not disturbed. He was showing what is the life of a most advanced soul, most realized soul. And in this way, he spent his life. Similarly, Bharat Maharaj also, after 2 lives, he started wandering just like this Jad man, madman. He was born in a very good, intelligent family, Brahmana family. And his father, because of being naturally affectionate towards his son, tried his best to train the son in normal etiquettes, but he would not learn. He would teach him mantras. He will not chant properly, deliberately. He will not behave intelligently. He knew if I behave intelligently, they will put me into Griha, Kshetra, Suta, Apta, madman who will marry? Nobody will care. Jobless man, who will care? Well, I should not show my intelligence now. Otherwise, they'll put me again into same rat race. So then he behaved like a dull man, not caring for anything, not asking for any food, completely giving up the defense. Whatever occupation his brothers will give him, they made him stand in the field like a scarecrow. He would stand there in the field. They will give him some burnt pieces of rice which are sticking at the bottom of the pot. He will be satisfied eating that. because he understood everything. Nothing happens in this world without control of God. Yes, everything is under control of God. So whatever is coming to me, God is sending. God is my father. Why should I disagree with my father? My father is my protector. If he's sending me burnt pieces of rice, let me be satisfied. That is why a person gives up defense, because he knows without mercy of Krishna, Krishna mare rakhe ke, Krishna rakhe mare ke. If God wants to kill, let me die, because that is in my interest. And if God wants to save, then let me be saved. That is in my interest. So in this way, a person who is completely faithful on Lord, he is satisfied in every circumstance, because the circumstance is created by Krishna. So thus he was always satisfied, never disturbed at all. Whatever task, menial task his family members will engage, he will get engaged. Similarly, the king was not having palanquin carrier. Then he told his strong man is needed. Find a strong man. He was having a good build. Jad Bharat. Come, we have to lift palanquin. Okay, I'll come. And he went along with them. No worries. And then he started lifting the palanquin. Just imagine. He's self-realized soul. He has been king of the entire world. He knows his past lives, but he was brought to carry palanquin, and he agreed. He started carrying palanquin. But then was he a fool? He was not a fool. That is why when the palanquin was being carried, there were some ants crawling on the mud, on the soil. He did not want to trample upon the ants. So this is called intelligence. If somebody hurts me, I feel pain. Why should I hurt other living entities? So people, after getting various degrees from big institutions, working and showing their intelligence in making good money, they do not have the simple sense that simply for the satisfaction of my tongue, I am killing poor lambs, goats, chickens, and fishes. They also feel pain. The simple sense does not strike them. Why should we pay heed to any of their words? They have no simple sense. If somebody cuts my hand, I feel pain. Why should I hurt others? Why should I eat non-vegetarian food at all? This is common sense. And if a person does not have this much empathy, this common sense, whatever he speaks is of no value. And that is why we see the words of all such people, the products or the companies created by such people, the inventions created by such people have simply increased stress in the society. Mental stress, anxiety, disorder is increasing in the world. And it is more prevalent with the successful people, with the children of the successful people, with the successful nations. Thus we can understand. If a person does not have this sense, whatever they will build, that will also be nonsense, will give you immediate pleasure and long-term misery. And the world is the proof. The state of the world is the proof. So thus he was most wise man. He did not want to hurt even an ant. It will feel pain. Why should I trample? So he was jumping. He was saying that ant does not get trampled. And the king was getting disturbed. He was scolding. You nonsense. Who are you? You do not know how to carry palanquin? And anyway, he did not answer. He continued. Again, the ants came. He started jumping. Again, king is getting disturbed. He told, and he started using very harsh and unpolite words. And then he spoke few words. And anyway, because kings also were trained, he got angry at that point of time, because servants should serve king nicely. But kings were trained very nicely in the Vedic culture and knowledge. So when he spoke these words of realization, that you are thinking you are king, so in next life you may become carrier, I may become king. There is a situation in this world, but the person gets carried away by these temporary designations. So in this way, when he heard his realizations, he realized what a mistake he has done. He immediately, his name was Rahugan, he fell at his feet. My dear sir, you are self-realized soul. I committed great mistake. Please excuse me. I did not realize. Please instruct me. Please save me. Please forgive my offenses, which I have done at your feet. So this was the life of Bharat Maharaj, after whom, that is why this entire planet is called Bharatvarsh. There have been so many kings who have ruled across the world, but because of his intense sincerity about spiritual life and the spiritual perfection that he attained in just 3 lives, this whole planet was named after him. This is the most significant achievement that a person should do, and he was able to do it in 3 lives. That is why the entire world became known as Bharatvarsh. Before this, it was called Ilavritvarsh. After him, this world got the name Bharatvarsh. And in other planets also, people call this place Bharatvarsh. So this is the life of a self-realized soul. So just see, we are completely mistaken. So it is a common sense thing. It is not very difficult. So whatever is daytime for the world is nighttime for the spiritualist. And daytime for spiritualists is night for them. This is the right understanding. Human life is not meant for increasing the addictions and increasing the stress, but mitigating this and engaging in devotional service. But never mind, we could belong to the category of women laborers and business class merchants, but all of us can be purified, just like the girls who got kidnapped by Bhaumarsur. They got purified. How they got purified? Simply by surrendering to Krishna. And there are people who are less than these people, less than women, less than merchants, and less than working class job doers also. And they are called Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha. They are completely uncivilized men. So the uncivilized men also can attain topmost perfection of spiritual realization. How? Simply by surrendering to Lord Krishna. The filthy drain water becomes as good as Ganges. So it does not matter how much ever bad habits we may have, how much ever less intelligence may have, how much ever no inquisitiveness we could have harbored in our life, will become completely purified simply by surrendering to Krishna. So this surrender lies in our hand. We may choose to surrender or not. So this wisdom, we should try to read the instructions of Krishna and then follow them completely. This is called surrender, working for the satisfaction of Krishna. Tatha Paramahansanam Muninam Amalatmanam. In this way, when we become pure, we will understand everything completely about ourselves, completely about God. We have a permanent life. We have an identity separate from these temporary dresses. We simply have forgotten. We need not work hard to build up some temporary thing in this life, lose it, again build it in the next life, again lose it, and repeat this cycle infinitely. We have all the opulence. We are children of God. We have a real life without death, without disease, without old age. Life of all opulence and knowledge. We simply are dreaming now. We simply need to wake up. So thus, this self-realization business should be taken care very, very seriously. And one should try to surrender to Krishna, surrender immediately, without delay. And then despite our limitations, we will attain perfection. We will end here. Any questions? Yes.
But whoever reads Srila Prabhupada's books for a few months or few years, he may not have humility, but he gets the knowledge. So these two things how you can understand. Humility, he may not have, but he can have knowledge.
Question is, we understood humility is the first step of knowledge. But if a person reads Prabhupada books for a couple of years, he might get knowledge but might not have humility. So how is this possible? So there is some humility. That is why he is reading books. Otherwise, those who are not humble, they tell, I have not read any books. I don't care for Vedas. I have not read Mahabharata. I have not read Bhagavad Gita. So I depend on my knowledge, my realization. I keep myself away from books. So they are so proud and so arrogant. They don't want to read anybody's knowledge. They think they are the wisest person who has ever appeared on this planet. Krishna also read books in the Gurukul. He understood from his teacher. Lord Ramchandra also heard in the Gurukul from his teacher. But they don't want to hear from anybody. They are so wise. Wisest person ever. Wiser than Lord Ramchandra, wiser than Lord Krishna, wiser than Arjuna, wiser than Vedavyas also, who heard from his spiritual master. So they don't read books. But they will write book and tell others not to read books. Read my book, but don't read. So a person is humble. That is why he is reading other books. So thus he has started his journey. And if he reads further, he will develop genuine humility. And then he will advance. Yes. Any other question?
As you mentioned, that was not opposing. People are showing strong.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Rishabh Dev. Yeah.
Right thing for which understanding, how उनके understanding कैसी जिसके वो ऐसा उसको साइन करता है
Question is, Rishabh was tolerating various persecutions of people, of throwing stones and passing urine on him. So how he was able to develop this kind of tolerance, this attitude, and is it right to have this attitude or not? Definitely it is right. That is why it is discussed in the scriptures. And all the Paramahansas, they have this attitude. How they were able to cultivate this attitude? Because of tremendous faith on Lord. Because God is sending everything. Everything is in control of God. Otherwise, what good is God if He cannot control things? So everything is in control of God. So if God is sending any distress in my life, it is because of my karma. These bad, so-called bad instances in my life, bad experiences, they must be necessary for my purification, as surgery is very painful. Of course, now we have anesthesia, but some time ago, surgeries were happening without anesthesia. Very, very painful. But surgery is required, such pain is required if you want to survive in the long term. So an intelligent man will take the pain of surgery. In a similar way, an intelligent person does not try to artificially solve the problems of life. He simply follows the instructions of God very strictly. Following those instructions, some pain will come in life. And he does not avoid that. He knows, following the instructions of God, this pain is coming. That means it is good for me, good for my long-term happiness and purification. So in this way, they were completely dependent on God, and thus they were able to tolerate all the wrongdoings. And secondly, they were out of bodily concept. The trouble happens, somebody throws stone or anything. The trouble is at the physical level, or somebody neglects you, insults you. It is at mental level. But they realize, I am not the body and mind. Thus, they are not affected at all by all these things. But we should not artificially imitate this thing. And we should, once we become Paramahansa, then we can do this thing. For now, this body has to be protected. This body belongs to Krishna. So for using in the service of Krishna, we can have regulated defense measures. Yes. Yes. If anybody is hearing from folk residency, you can please carry on. I will take some more questions. Yes. Yes.
But even to come out of those material engagements, also one has to use intelligence. But how to manage so that like it will not come out in front of everyone, but still be able to use intelligence so that it can come out of.
Yes. So not showing off intelligence does not mean not using the intelligence. So once a disciple, he made some blunder. So Prabhupada told, we have to think I am fool, but don't behave like a fool. You have to think I have no knowledge, I am foolish, but don't behave like a foolish man. Don't commit such mistakes and blunders. So we have to use intelligence definitely, but you should not show off your intelligence to others.
But like sometime it will.
Then it's okay. If it comes up, it's okay. But as far as possible, one tries to avoid.
So how to measure like where to stop or like how much to
use intelligence for that. How to measure to use intelligence or not. So that is why it is called Buddhi Yoga, the process of intelligence. So we use little common sense, it is there or not. Otherwise, we take guidance of devotees. Yes.
Reading scriptures make you feel you are wise.
You are wise. Okay.
There is a tendency to be very rightist.
Right.
I am only right.
Yes.
So is it better? Only Sangati, good Sangati is a better way path
to advance in enlightenment. Yes. So the question is, if we read scriptures, it makes you feel proud, arrogant, and makes you feel you are the only right man on the planet. And so simply having sangat or association of the saints or the pure devotees, is it not a safer path of spiritual advancement? So very nice question. So how to have this sang or association? It is described in the Shastras. And Srila Rup Goswami has explained very nicely. The sang or association. In India, people are very much familiar with this word satsang. So I was speaking to some children who are of Indian origin but born and brought up in America. So I was seeing how much they know. So I was discussing that, so okay, if you have to understand about God, what will you do? So we will read Bhagavad Gita, they tell. So I told, by reading Bhagavad Gita, you will understand Bhagavad Gita? They told, no, we need to have satsang. So they are knowing. So I was glad they know the word satsang. So what is this satsang actually? So satsang is done in 6 ways, it is told in Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction. Which are the 6 ways? Dadati pratigrahanati, guhyam akhyati pritchati, bhungte bhojyate chaiva, shadbhir or shadvidha priti lakshanam. So the first is dadati pratigrahanati. Satsang means you go and you offer something to sadhu. That is why it is told, when you come to temple, don't come empty-handed. You come with some fruits, some grains or money. And in this way, you go to the temple, render some service. You approach a sadhu. What should be first question? How can I serve you? That without serving sadhu, even if sadhu gives answer, we will not understand. So first question should be, how can I serve you? And then render service. You give something, dadati. This is the first principle of association. You give. And then pratigrihanati, we will get something in return. You go to the temple, offer some fruits, flowers. You do some service. What will devotees give? They will give some prasad. Take that prasad. They will give us chanting beads. They will give us this thing. So accept prasadam from the devotees. Or they will give us Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You chant. So they will give us mantra. They will give us prasadam. So dadati pratigranati, mutual exchange of gifts. And this is the first principle. And then second, guhyam akhyati pritchati, revealing your heart. You are having some troubles, reveal it to the devotees. You are having some confusions, reveal it to the devotees. Ask questions, confidential questions. And then they will give us confidential knowledge of service of God. This is the solution. So this is confidential. This is what they will tell. So this confidential exchange, this is most important part of Sangha. And then bhungte bhojyate chaiva, invite the devotees at your place to eat and then go and offer the foodstuffs to the devotees. Bhungte bhojyate chaiva. So in this way one should do satsang. So people are going to Kumbh Mela and they want to have, some of them, they simply take a dip and come back. They think my life is successful. But Shastras are telling this is go khara. This is the behavior of cow and ass. If a cow goes to Sangam, what cow will do? Take a dip and come out. Or an ass, they will also go take a dip and come out. If you also go to take a dip and come out, then Bhagavatam is telling sa eva go khara. We are no better than cow or an ass. So one should go to Kumbh. The purpose is satsang. It is told, Janeshu abhigneshu, to meet men of knowledge, to have their darshan. So that is why we discuss just wonderful meanings that this Sanskrit word conveys. So this darshan word is also very unique. Darshan means to see, and darshan also means philosophy. So unless one is a philosopher, one will not be able to see a saint. That is why it is told, the saint should be seen from. How should we see the saint? So some people are advanced. They go and see the saints also. They offer the respects. But Shastras are telling, saint is not to be seen from the eyes. Saint should be seen from ears. From ears one identifies, here is a proper saint. From eyes, anybody can smear ashes on his body or have some matted hairs and any of these external things. So one should hear from the self-realized soul. This is how the king Rahugan was able to identify this Jad Bharat is not Jad, he is self-realized soul. But people do not know this. So that is why in order to have darshan, one needs to know darshan, philosophy and darshan. If you have to have darshan of deities, You need to know darshan, you need to know philosophy. This is not stone. Arche Vishnu Shiladhir. If you get carried away by sense perception, I am seeing stone. What darshan you have had? You could not see Satchidanand form. So thus, without knowing philosophy, one cannot have darshan of the deity in the temple, one cannot have darshan of sadhu. So thus, having darshan or satsang, that means hearing from sadhu, is the prime objective of visiting places of pilgrimage, janeshu abhigyeshu, and hearing from them. So this is called, so satsang includes this thing. So reading the books, understanding the books, hearing the discourses from sadhu, this is included in satsang. Without this, simply meeting with the devotees or just physical proximity, that is not satsang. So that is why one should hear, one should read, and one should try to gain knowledge. But again, not reading with the intent of showing off to others. See, I know so many books, I can quote so many shlokas. This is an impediment of spiritual life. Thus God himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has warned. He warned Sanatana Goswami, do not read many books. So the injunction of Shastras is not to read many books, because there is so much knowledge given for different people. We should read only the books which are meant for self-realization, limited number of books. And that too, the book should be read for gaining self-realization, not for showing off to others. Thus, there are many, many wonderful speakers who get hordes of people in their katha, but they are very, very poor in their spiritual life personally. But they are eloquent speakers. They read so many books, they have huge libraries at their places so that they can impress people. And that will make them proud. That will make them, as you told, feel I am the right person, I know everything. So this should not be the intent of reading the books. Books should be read so that I can develop humility and know that I know nothing about spiritual life. So satsang includes reading and hearing of books. Online.
Prabhupada said surrender with intelligence, but do not surrender your intelligence.
Yes.
So in spiritual life, how to be careful and maintain the proportion of faith as well as be critical and logical in thinking.
Prabhupada explained, don't surrender your intelligence, but surrender with intelligence. So how do we maintain that in spiritual life? Very nice question. We will try to discuss in the next class. So the time is up. So we'll definitely discuss. Please ask if we forget in the next class. Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki